Hello, hello. Coming on live today. Looking forward to connecting in with a new friend, talking about an upcoming workshop in Hood River. And gonna invite in, hey Adrian. I'm gonna invite in my friend Evangelos in just a moment, so just hang tight with us. How's everybody doing? Good? Awesome. I love it. Me too. This is a pretty powerful week, so a lot's, I know, been happening for me. I'm guessing a lot for you too. All right, I see Evangelos is ready. Oops, wrong message. Uh-oh. Let's bring that back. All right. Thanks for bearing with us, folks. Okay. I lost my little note. There it is. Okay. Adding Evangelos now. All right.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Evangelos. Good to see
How
you.
good to see you too. I look a little green. I don't know why.
Oh,
Maybe
well.
because I have plants all outside of my window.
Okay, we'll just assume it's the vitamin G taking
The
care of
vitamin
you.
G. Oh, vitamin G. I like that.
Yeah, so here we are. I'm with Evangelos Diavolitsis.
Good pronunciation.
Thank you. I worked on that. So Evangelos is a 5Rhythmes facilitator and meditation teacher. He takes his goodness all over the world, throughout Asia, the Americas, Europe, and he's coming to my hometown in Hood River in January. So really excited about that and looking forward to hearing more about this workshop coming up. But why don't we just check in and land together here and just, let me know what's alive for you right now in this moment, Evangelos.
Well, I'm in San Diego right now. I just finished a workshop. I did my money workshop, my signature workshop.
Uh,
So half my workshops are the money workshops because, as far as I know, people aren't really doing embodiment workshops about money. And
mm-mm.
I'm really learning that people, what they come to workshops for is relationships and how to relate to themselves, to other people, to their community, to energies, to themes. So yeah, I'm here right now and I'm going to San Francisco tomorrow. So basically I'm in the States, hobnobbing around and really enjoying the space.
Beautiful. Right on. That sounds like an amazing workshop as well. And it's so true. We need all of this. I am having my check-in is a little bit of a whirlwind. I still feel like there's so much energy flowing, and I've had lots of new interactions this week, including this one right here. And so, kind of looking to anchor and ground myself constantly. But that's the practice, right? We're dancing even when we're not on the dance floor. So
Absolutely.
it's a good reminder to me.
And
Good.
I want to say thank you to you for inviting me and also being my social media coach the other day, because I can sometimes get sloppy about social media, and I understand also that people have really busy lives, and this is a way of actually connecting with people in communities where they might not be able to connect, and now because I am teaching in different time zones, it's become more important to just let people know what I'm doing and what's going on, and also sharing with them when I'm teaching a new workshop theme. And I have done workshops on relationships quite a bit, but not specifically this particular type of workshop.
Okay, good. Well, you're absolutely welcome. And we'll unpack a little bit more about the workshop in a minute. Why don't you tell us your take on what 5 Rhythms is?
Okay, well, for me, 5 rhythms, first and foremost, is a practice. And it's
Mm.
a practice that I've used to free myself of some of the armoring I've had in my body, right? So
Mm.
it's such a beautiful system that Gabrielle Roth, my teacher, created so that I can learn to navigate through life in a body. And
Mm-hmm.
Gabrielle used to say, you need to work the 5 rhythms before they work you over, right?
Mm.
And sometimes I feel like I get worked over by life. And especially in this Mercury retrograde, I noticed there was a lot of unusual and unforeseen energies in the world, like waking up, for example, going to bed feeling great and then waking up and going, oh, I feel horrible. It's like, what happened in between? And so just learning to listen to my body through the 5 rhythms has been such an invaluable tool, right? And I'm all about the tools, right? And five
Mm-hmm.
rhythms for me isn't just about moving on the floor. It's also about bringing it into my day-to-day life, like and giving that life a language because I like language, and 5 rhythms is a beautiful language.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. And so let's dive into this workshop on relating.
Okay.
Tell us more about that.
Okay. So I want to say a few things
Mm-hmm.
about this workshop because I did get some emails from people about asking me if you need to be in a relationship to attend this workshop, and the answer is a clear no. Because in fact, not being in a relationship could be advantageous because you can really start to do your own work. Um, and there's never a time where we're not relating with people, or we're not relating with ourselves, or we're not relating with nature, or we're not relating with
Mm-hmm.
life. And of course, there's levels of intensity, like relating to a human being is different than relating to an animal, for example, which animals can't talk back to you because people get hurt by words, right? So
Yeah.
regardless of whether or not you're in a relationship, regardless of your gender, your sexual orientation, this workshop is open to everybody. And some people will say, well, I'm in a relationship. I don't need a work on relationship. I'm having a good relationship. Well, it's preventative medicine because all relationships have a boom and bust cycle. And depending on what's going on in life, we want to have the tools to learn to navigate that relationship. And through embodiment, we understand the energy and how our bodies come into what happens when we come into close proximity and what happens when we come further away.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that sounds really rich. Really rich. Um, I think all relationships are there's so much potential for us stepping into our edges, right? That edge of evolution for each person. So
Yeah.
holding that edge for ourselves, it seems like stepping into a workshop could really take you to the next layer of a relationship.
Yeah.
Um,
And what I've been teaching now for over a decade, and what I see in workshops is people come into workshops quite often feeling hurt, guarding their heart,
mhm.
and we're hurt by other people, be it our family, be it our friends, be it our lovers. And my meditation teacher, his famous line is, protecting against the hurt is what
Mm,
hurts. So when we're spending all this energy protecting, that really hurts. That's a lot of energy. So what is it like to live a life where we're opening our heart? So I really want people to open their hearts, and even if there's pain, to feel the pain, because it's more painful to have a closed heart and go through life than it is to come to a workshop with an open heart and feel your pain. So the 5 rhythms is a practice of feeling, right?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that is one of the most valuable things we can be doing on the planet right now is practicing to
Absolutely.
feel fully and not necessarily with the goal of feeling better, but
Yeah.
just feeling all the way, knowing that there is this restoration cycle that we are designed for so that we do end up feeling better, but to be alive to the journey of where you traverse to get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
You know, and
yeah.
what I wanted to say is that I also noticed that this was from my weekly class when I taught in Calgary, is that a lot of people lived isolated lives. And because of social media, people have the illusion that there's a connection, but we also need to share space together because
Yeah.
that's a whole other layer of intimacy. And I was really surprised to read this statistic that there's more homes being sold that are just meant for one person than for families or like
Mm.
even couples. So more people are living alone because, well, sometimes other people can be difficult, right?
Yeah.
But then in making that decision, there's a sense of loneliness and separation and confusion. And actually, wait a second, I live alone. Okay, nobody's bugging me all day, but I miss having people around. And having people around, that's a skill. Learning how to connect with them, that's a skill.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sorry, and disconnect, and learning how to
Yeah.
disconnect. That's also a skill, right? Like how do I say
Mm.
yes to this moment, and how do I say no to this moment?
How to do that consciously. Yeah.
How to do that consciously, yeah.
In relationships. Yeah. Oh, that's good stuff. So, that's one of the things I really love about this 5 Rhythms practice is that it's so amazing. I'm sure everyone who's ever been on that floor knows the experience of coming in feeling like you're this little island of emotion or of stress or of whatever you're walking into the room with, and then you go through this wave, you go through this journey, and you end up in this full experience of being interconnected with everyone else on the floor.
Hmm.
It's just like really powerful and kind of hard to discover, hard to find that experience
Yeah,
easily in our culture, for sure.
yeah. A few years ago, I had somebody come to my class regularly, and then he stopped coming. And then I saw him out in the world. I said, "Oh, how are you? May I ask why you stopped coming to the class?" And he said, "Well, I just want to say one thing to you. If you stop doing partner work,
Mm,
then I'll come to your class again." So he didn't want any partner work. And my question to him was, you know, what are you hiding from?
mm,
Right. And, this is in the middle of a supermarket. And he said, "What am I hiding from?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "And it's not other people. What are you hiding from yourself? What's the truth that you're not owning? And it's an opportunity for you to own that." Right. And it took him about 3 months after that conversation
mm.
to come to class. And he said, um, and finally, he said he didn't think that he was good enough or embodied enough to dance with a partner, that he felt awkward. And
Yeah,
I said, "Great, that's the first step, is just naming that."
yeah. And who else feels awkward, you know, stepping into partnership on the floor?
Yes, of course.
Of
Right.
course, it's universal. Everything that's comes up there is
Yeah.
universal.
And that's the
Um,
beauty of free form movement. Can I be comfortable with my awkwardness? Right.
yeah, and bringing that into the dance, feeling
Hmm.
that through the body. Uh, yeah, so it takes vulnerability. So what do you say to people who may be like shying away from that, like being vulnerable in a new
Well,
space?
yeah, one of the things I say to people is that everything you want is on the other side of fear.
Mm.
So if people don't want to meet their uncomfortable self, or they don't want to meet their fear, they're not going to access deeper states of joy, deeper states of bliss, right?
Yeah.
So our job as we move through the 5 rhythms is to acknowledge the truth, just go, wow, this has really happened, embody it, and feel how does that affect how we move through the world, right? And then let it go and see what's next. So it's a constant acknowledgement, accepting, yeah, this is happening, and then letting it go to see what's underneath. So it's layers and layers and layers. And there is no catharsis, there is no um, metamorphosis without challenging yourself, right? And the beauty of this practice is you actually decide how you want to challenge yourself. Because even if I'm giving a difficult exercise, it's up to you how you're going to relate to it. Again, it's about relating. We actually have free will. It's you decide what you want to get out of the practice, right? So, also a few months ago, somebody said to me, "This is a difficult exercise," and then he said, "You shouldn't do this exercise."
Mm.
And I said to him, "I actually, you can handle it." And he said, "Really? You think so?" And I said, "Yes." And I said, "And you shouldn't wait for me to tell you that you can handle it. Like, I saw you and you could handle it." And he said, "I'm not speaking for myself. I'm speaking for other people. They might not be able to
Mm.
handle it." And I said, "Well, that's for everybody to decide when they come into the practice. But as far as I know, nobody's ever died by doing the 5 rhythms. But I do know a whole lot of people have changed their lives. They've they make better decisions. They've healed a lot of trauma and wounds that were in their body for years and years and years. So I'm living proof, as are many others like yourself, that this works."
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I you spoke a little bit to the or maybe it just spoke to me about the power of intention,
Hmm.
of stepping on to any practice really, but this works so well with this practice, with an intention of what I want to be open to, or what I want to focus on, or what I want to move, or what I want clarity on. And and then letting it go, right? Letting that mental decision go and stepping in and allowing the body to guide the journey to land me to this new awareness that I never, or a new, yeah, that new layer of relationship, or that new whatever.
Yeah.
Um, it's incredible. Like, we are superheroes when we activate these powers and bring them into practices with that vulnerability that you spoke to. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I love the work. I love this
Okay.
practice. I can't recommend it enough.
Okay. And and also in the workshop, there's a journey that we go on where we learn how to give love, because we need to learn how to give love and be generous with ourselves, but also to receive it. And then what is it like to become love? What is it? What does it feel like to
Mm,
embody love, where I'm not like chasing another relationship, or I'm not pushing relationships away, right? So a lot of
mm-hmm.
people, I've noticed this recently, are like, "Oh, I'm done." I've heard this a few times. "I'm done with relationships." I'm like, "Really? How are you done with relationships? How can you just say it's over?" So when I
Mm-hmm.
hear that, I know there's like something, a wound or a pain point that's being held on to, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how are they going to dance with that? So you can again attract what you want to attract in your life. And I think life is more fun with other people, because imagine doing the 5 rhythms, and you only ever did it alone in your bedroom, right? What would that feel like? I mean, could I say I know what the 5 rhythms is about, right? So it's, for me, it's all those logs on the fire that create the synergy, that create that the alchemical process where we learn from each other, and we look at other possibilities, right? So one of the things we're going to look at is acknowledging how we relate, like and the different types of relationships, like who's an acquaintance and how do we treat acquaintances, right? And who are we more casual with, right? And who do we create friendships with? And who do we create intimates with? And different people have different understandings. Like I might be somebody that thinks I'm just friends with somebody, where they see me more as an intimate, right? So sometimes as a teacher, I'll see people as an acquaintance if there's like 60 or 70 people, but they might see me as an intimate. And so it's understanding how that dance takes place and what's the sweet spot. So I often talk in workshops of finding the embodied sweet spot so we can be present, because this is a movement meditation. It's a practice of presence.
Yeah. 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 I think people probably resist presence because of the sort of that unknown quality of a lot of relationships, where maybe it hasn't been determined what the level of relationship is. And so there may be some holding back of presence because there's uncertainty there, or
Yeah. I'm not sure if
I don't
people
know.
consciously resist relationships, but we aren't trained or consciously resist presence, because how could you how could you resist presence? I'm trying to think. It's like I'm going to resist presence. I guess I could go and eat food or drink alcohol or something, but if I'm that conscious, I think people resist in a way the intimacy of being seen. And because when we're seen, we don't want people to see the parts of ourselves that we actually haven't come to terms with, right? So it's a constant training to come back into the present moment, to be present with myself. I have all these things happening inside of me, and can I be present with them? And then also being present with all the things that are happening inside of you, and then being present with all the things that are happening between us, and actually understanding what's happening with us, because most of what we communicate in partnerships is through the body. It's I believe 70% of communication is through the body, even if we're speaking words. Like I always
Yeah.
and the voice, I listen to people's voice. So it's a training to be present with myself, present with other, and then present with us, and then from there I build to what's it like to be present in a group, right? So, and in the 5 rhythms, we learn to be, how do you move when you're on your own? You're relating to yourself. You're relating to your music, or to the music. Then you're relating to partners, and then you're relating to the whole, right? So what does that movement feel like in my body? And and it changes daily, right? It changes daily depending on how much energy I have, depending on what I've eaten, depending on who's in the room.
Yeah.
So I had a dancer recently in the workshop, and she turned pale white. She just, and she was about to pass out. And I went over to her and I said, "Is everything okay?" And she said, I just saw my ex-partner, who I hadn't seen for 3 years. They parted ways, and she hadn't processed it. So all of that non-processing came into that moment, and so the system just tightened up because she didn't really know what to do,
Yeah.
right? And so she wanted to leave, and I said, "Well, now's an opportunity to make a breakthrough." Right. So I'm all about the breakthroughs so we can have more fun, more joy, more clarity, and more harmonious relationships in our lives. And that's what relating is going to be about.
Perfect. That sounds, I can't wait.
I can't
So,
wait either. I'm excited. Plus, I love the nature in your part of the world.
oh yeah, this is one of the more gorgeous a very gorgeous spot to land for a weekend. So, and I can't think of better work to be doing to equip ourselves to engage with other humans at the moment on the planet. So thank
Thank
you,
you.
Evangelos, for sharing
Thank you.
all of this.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
And keep up the great spreading the word work. Thank you so much.
absolutely. So for people who maybe live in other areas and aren't looking at their calendars right now to check if they can make it to this workshop, and we're going to post a comment with a link to the event so people will be able to find it easily. But for just connecting in with you for your future work, how can people find you most easily?
Well, you can go to meditationmoves.ca, or you can go to 5 Rhythms Global, the website, and
Mm-hmm.
look for Evangelos Diavolitsis. And all of my workshops are listed there. And I have more workshops, but sometimes I don't have the time to list them all because they're coming up all the time. And also check out our Facebook page on Relating, and it's being organized by Adrian Lee, and Sarah Maines is also part
Yes,
of the whole production process. So yeah, just come and check us out, and we'd love to see you there. And it's open to everybody,
open to all.
open to all. And it's a good way to start the new year. So it's good because it's going to be
Yeah,
this second or third weekend,
it's the 17th, 18th, 19th of
third weekend of
January.
January. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Beautiful.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you.
Thanks so much,
Thank you.
Evangelos.
Thank you so much, Karen. Have a great day.
You too. Bye,
Bye bye.
everybody. Thanks for tuning in.